this Saturday. We thank you for bringing us out. Thank you for your mercies, which are new every morning. We thank you for righteousness and peace, which are meant together. Mercy and truth, righteousness and peace, which are kids. We pray in the name of Jesus that you connect us with your righteousness, with your peace, with your mercy and your truth, that you manifest it in our hearts. We pray for spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of what you are teaching us as it pertains to race. We know that there's no races with you, but there is still. You saw fit to place them in the scripture. You chose a certain people, and you use certain people according to your own will. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking at and studying. We pray that you will cause us to understand spiritual history. We know about Anglo-Saxon history. We don't know our own history. We don't know ourselves. And we are lost people. Not only lost in a location, but we're lost in our minds. We're lost mentally. Not only physically are we lost, we are especially lost mentally. If you would show us our way mentally, we may understand more about why we are in this physical location. Thank you in the name of Jesus for everything you're doing for us in this ministry. Pray that you forgive us for all of our sins, iniquities, transgressions, and our trespasses. That you reveal to us the presence of our people in the scripture. Not that we may boast, brag about who we are, but that we may teach our children truth, and that we may just know truth for ourselves. We've been deceived for many years. Not only we, our parents was deceived, our grandparents have been deceived. And we know it's all because of the sin of our forefathers and our sin too. For when we did come to a time in our life where we could read and write, we did not search out our own history. We did what our forefathers did, and that was learn the customs of the heathen and try to be like other nations. Deliver us from that mindset, that bondage that our minds are in right now. Seeing and looking at the European as all in all. We pray in the name of Jesus, you deliver us from the fear of man. We will touch as we go through this study. In Jesus' name we pray. The church says, amen. Okay. We're looking at this portion of the teaching. We're going to be looking at this morning. And we're going to be reading out of the book of the dead. What we're going to be looking at is, we're going to be looking at the Egyptian idea. We're going to be looking at the Egyptians' idea. The Egyptians' idea of God. That's what we're going to be looking at. Egyptians' ideas about God. Now we know when we use the term Egyptian, we are speaking of the second son of Ham, which was Mizraim. Mizraim was the second son of Ham. As I said, if you look over there now, they're having some type of meeting over there next door to us, and it's called the Earth Center. I'm going to be reading to you some things about the Earth and show you why they call it the Earth Center. Now, one thing I want to do this morning is I want to make you familiar with Egypt. What?
The cord is not showing up. There. Nope.
I want to make you familiar with Egypt. That's what what I want to do. I want to explain to you about Egypt. That's so you can know. All right. I want to explain to you about something about Egypt so you can understand Egypt. I'm going to be reading. Egypt. Egypt is the land of Mizraim. That's what Egypt is. Genesis chapter 10, verse number 6. That's Mizraim. Genesis chapter 10, verse number 6. Mizraim is in the Middle East, is what we call modern day Africa. Genesis 10, verse 6, and the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. Now, you got Mizraim. And Mizraim, it means Mizraim is plural. That's what Mizraim is. Mizraim is plural. Mizraim is plural. Where's my Mizraim? Mizraim is plural. They call it Upper and Lower Egypt. That's what they call it. They call it Upper. Should have brought my book and read that. But I will try to do it again. Explain that to you. Mizraim is plural. It means upper and lower Egypt. You look at the top. If you look at the top, it says lower Egypt. That's lower Egypt at the top. That's going to the north. Upper Egypt would be at the bottom. Now the Nile River out of Africa flows the Lake of Victoria. It comes up through the south and it runs into the Nile. That's the Nile River here. When you're going through here. Oh, I got the picture. I know what I want. There you go, right there. That's what I want right there. There we go. That's Lake Victoria at the bottom. Out of Lake Victoria, it runs up through Mizraim. It runs up through Mizraim. That's called the Nile River. And then it runs out into the Mediterranean Sea. Now, in that map, this is the map. You see it comes through. It runs through Mizraim. All of that is Mizraim. All of this land is Mizraim. Now, the bottom is called Upper Egypt. It's opposite to what you think in your mind. You would think that this would be Upper Egypt. No, this is Upper Egypt at the south. That's south. That's north. That's south. That's east. That's west. So one thing you're going to have to know, I don't know if you know your directions. Which way are you facing out here?
I am facing south.
Thank you. Where's your back to?
North.
Where's your right hand to where?
West.
Where's your left hand to Carol? Okay, so you need to know your direction. If you don't know your directions, you would be lost. You got north, south, you got east. This is east. Everything began in the east. This would be considered east. All of this land would be considered east. They call it the Middle East because it's in the middle. Then west will come up this way right here. That's the east right there. Going up would be north, coming down to the bottom would be south. That's what Edom was. Edom was in the south. Moab was in the south. Simeon was in the south. You can see on this map right here. Judah was in the south. You got Ephraim. He's kind of like southwest, because this is over to the west and he's in the south. Then you got these ones up, and here go the Jordan River running up through here. The Jordan River ran out of Lake Victoria. It ran out of Lake Victoria, and it ran through the land of Israel. So here at the top, we're going to be teaching y'all this next week. This is lower Egypt. This is lower Egypt. Then you had cataracts that went through here that branches off. That's why Egypt called this the breadbasket of the world. Down at the bottom would be lower Egypt. This has to be Lake Victoria right here, running to it, turning to the Nile, and then you had cataracts running all through here. Then it ran out into the, help me Holy Spirit, the Mediterranean Sea. Now, this is another map of Egypt. I want you to understand. You can see Cush. You can see the Empire Cush here. You can see Thebes here. You can see Heliopolis here. You see Memphis here. You see Heliopolis here. This is Heliopolis. Heliopolis is where Joseph was. In our Bibles, let us turn in our Bibles. In our Bibles, it's called the City of the Sun. Chapter 37, I believe. Am I right? Chapter. I asked because I'm searching you guys to see if you read it. Do you know? I asked you. You don't know. Just say, I don't know. That's how I really would prefer you to just say, I don't know, than to sit there and don't say nothing. You understand?
Amen.
Is it 41? Is it 41? Is it 41? I know my Bible, my Mark 9. Is it 41? Mark 9. It says, I know my Bible. How it's laid out. This is the only place you're going to find this word on. There's 3 places in the Bible. I read about 3 places, but I only see 2 right now, but I thought it was 3. So, Genesis 41. Genesis 41. And Pharaoh called Joseph. Genesis 41:45. You need to highlight the verse. You need to highlight the verse. Genesis 41:45. You need to highlight the verse. You need to highlight the verse. Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paneah, and he gave him to wife Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of Heliopolis. He's the priest of Heliopolis. Heliopolis was in Israel. This is going to be an excellent teaching. You're going to learn a lot. That's what Joseph was. They was in Heliopolis. Heliopolis is the Greek name for On. That's Heliopolis right there. Heliopolis is the Greek name for Non. You can see how it come up from Lake Victoria. This is how fertile this land was. That's why it's green. That's why it's green. That's why you see the green on this map. That shows you how fertile that this land was. That's why you see green all the way up here, all the way up to Syria. You can see that Nile River, this is a map of the New Kingdom of Eden, 1450 BCE. This is the time of Israel. You can see that Nile River ran all the way up and branched off into Canaan. That's the land that they inherited. That's the Canaanite land. That's Mesopotamia. That's what Abraham came. He came from Mesopotamia. And you go up down through here, there go Nineveh, and Asher, which Nimrod built it. This is Syria. You see Sidon and Tyre up here. You see Kadesh up here in Damascus. This is the land that the Israelites inherited right here. This land right around this way here. But Heliopolis is on. So what would Potiphar be? He's a priest of the sun god. Heliopolis means house of the sun. Polis of the sun. You see, Polis, people of the sun. So they were sun worshipers here in Heliopolis. In Memphis, what I want you to understand, we're going to go through. In Memphis, they worship a different form of God than they did in Heliopolis and Heliopolis. In Thebes, all of them believed in monotheism. But if Heliopolis conquered Napata, Abu, Simbel, Elephantine, this is going to be good when we go through here, Hun, if they conquered these nations, what they would do would make their gods subordinate gods to the main god that they was worshiping. Or they will connect their gods together and worship their sun god, but they would take attributes of the other god, thank you, Holy Spirit, and they would add it to it. Thank you. All right. Make it very clear. We looked at, give you a good idea. We looked at the God. We looked at the God. We looked at the God. And I'm going to show you something too. Come on. We looked at the God on our video. We looked at the God. We looked at the God.
What?
We looked at the God. Atum. Atum. I'll leave this. We looked at the God Atum. I want to read you about Atum so you can understand what I'm saying. Atum. Atum was the great original deity of Heliopolis. That's who he was the god of. In Heliopolis, I get back to that now. In Heliopolis, in Heliopolis, what I just showed you, I'll show you here. Where was Joseph at? Where was Joseph at? Where was he at? Lower Egypt. Thank you, Carolyn. Joseph was in Lower Egypt. Thank you, Carolyn. Joseph was in Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt is closer than Canaan than Upper Egypt. Hello? So that's what Joseph was. That's good. So you can have a picture in your mind. Joseph was in Lower Egypt. That's where he was. He was in Heliopolis. That's where Joseph was. I don't know why. All right, here we go, right here. On this map, Joseph, this is a good one right here. I like this one better. Joseph, that's what I wanted right here. Joseph is in Heliopolis, close to Memphis. Heliopolis is on. So when you're reading in Genesis, when we go to Genesis chapter 41 and verse 45, Pharaoh called Joseph's name Zaphnath-Paneah and gave him the wife Asenath, the daughter of Pharaoh, priest of Heliopolis. That's what the Greeks call it. Heliopolis is on. You can see that where Joseph is, pay attention, is not too far away from Canaan. That's why it was easy for them to travel up to Canaan, bury Jacob, and come back down to Egypt. So when they say come back down to Egypt, now you know what they're talking about. They come back down to Lower Egypt. That's where they come back to. Because Joseph buried them. I don't know, did I read that with you guys?
Yes.
Did I read that with you guys ever too?
Yes.
Okay. So, we know now, in dealing with Mizraim, Joseph and the children of Israel are in Heliopolis. They in detail Lower Egypt. So you can have an idea in your mind where these people are and where they located. If they was down in Upper Egypt, it would take them a long time to get there, right?
Yes.
They was down in Upper Egypt, which would be all the way at the bottom. Remember, Upper Egypt is south. Lower Egypt is north. Remember that. Upper Egypt, oh man. Upper Egypt is south. You can see the Nile, you can see Upper Egypt. Lower Egypt is north. The reason I want to show you this map here is because in all of these cities of Egypt, Heliopolis, Memphis, Heliopolis, Thebes, Elephantine, all of them worship a different God. This is what I meant to you when I was talking about they just like denominations. This is what I was telling y'all when I was telling y'all that in Egypt these people were just like us, a denomination. Only difference between them and us is that they were one race. They was Mizraim. They was not Mizraim and Europe, Mizraim and Shem. No, they was Mizraim and Mizraim being one race of people. All of that whole race, each one of those different families serve a different God. It's just like you being in your family and it's 5 of y'all. One of y'all is a Baptist, one of y'all is a Jehovah's Witness. One of y'all church. It's just like in your family now. It's just like it is now. We believe in predestination and the sovereignty of God. Your family believe in free will and the Baptist. Your sister Baptist. Your brother go to Church of God of Christ. Your other brother don't go to church at all. Your other sister is a Jehovah's Witness. Your other sister is Pentecostal. Your mama was Church of God in Christ. Your daddy was a Muslim. But all of y'all in the same family. So you can have an idea what's going on. So you can have, all of these people are the same, so you can have an idea. So we don't want to go. Yes. So you can understand that this is just one race of people, Mizraim. This is not Mizraim and Shem. This is not Mizraim and Japheth. This is just Mizraim. And Mizraim, cousin, he is in Heliopolis. His other cousin is in Memphis. His other cousin is Heliopolis and Thebes and Elephantine. These ones that I named is the main ones we're going to be dealing with, because that's where the power structure lies in Mizraim. This is good. This is going to be an excellent study. Then you got Mizraim, to say Mizraim Empire. Then you got Canaan. He over there worshiping different gods. But you want to Then you got Canaan over there worshiping his God. Well, that's the son of Ham. Canaan is the son of Ham, and Mizraim is the son of Ham. Okay? It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You got to remember, where we at? Where's that other one I had? Oh, there we go right there. Cush is down in lower Egypt. Upper Egypt. There go Cush. Cush is in upper Egypt. You can see Cush. It still is Mizraim's empire. But Cush is down in upper Egypt. I say down in upper Egypt. That's south. Hello? Amen. You got Mizraim mostly to the north. We don't want to go there. Yes. That's why I got Cush there. That's the land of Cush. Mizraim is his second brother. So you see Cush there. You see Punt. I believe that's Put. You see Cush. You see Punt. You see Mizraim. And you see Canaan. All four of the sons of Ham. They go Punt at the bottom. That's Punt. At the bottom. Okay. So you got Punt at the bottom. Okay? So Joseph Joseph is in Heliopolis, not far from Memphis. Memphis God is different from Heliopolis God. Heliopolis God is different from Memphis God and Heliopolis God. The God in Thebes is different than Heliopolis, Memphis, and Heliopolis gods. So I want to read you about Atum. So, because we looked at Atum, and Atum, if you look on it, it says Heliopolitan Enad. That's what it says. These, I never understood why. Now I know why. Remember, God sent 10 plagues, didn't he?
Yes.
Yes, he did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They call them Enads. They had 8 of them. Horus and Osiris is the same. Horus is a resurrection of Osiris. So you can count that as 1. Osiris is of the earth. Horus is his incarnation. Jesus Christ. Okay? Y'all understand?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So when God sent the 10 plagues, this is who he visited. They're so-called gods. Okay? I'm going to be reading something to you about that next week. Okay? So now you understand why God sent 10 plagues. You understand what I'm saying? Each one of them represents something, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So let me read you a little bit about Atum. Atum was the great primeval deity of Heliopolis, or what? Lower Egypt, or what? On. Look at your Bible. Don't. On is Heliopolis, located in Lower Egypt. You're supposed to write that in your book, because we're going to have answers. See, you're not taking your notes right. So you should have in your notes. What should you have in your notes, Cleo?
Okay.
What you got in your notes, Cleo?
Okay, I've got Mid-Marine Pearl, Upper and Lower Egypt, Upper is South, Heliopolis, Genesis 41:45, near Lower Egypt, North, race of people, different denominations, Canaan and Mizraim, son of Ham, Cush in Upper Egypt, South, also Put, Atum.
All right, I don't hear you have Heliopolis is on in Genesis 42 and what scripture is that?
41:45.
41:25.
45.
Let me go back. 41, 45, and 50. Yes, because it says in 50, and to Joseph were born 2 sons before the years of famine came, which asked not the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bear unto him. Potiphar, priest of On. On is Heliopolis. That's what On is. Located where at, Carol?
In Lower Egypt.
In Lower Egypt. And then you put your scriptures. Genesis 41, 45, and 50, right?
Yes.
All right. That's how you're going to have to do it.
Yes.
Genesis 41 and 45. On equals Heliopolis, located in Upper Egypt.
Yes.
Lower
Lower Egypt. Located in Lower Egypt. The god of Lower Egypt, Atum. I'm showing it to you right now. So now you know where we at. See, this is what I desire to do. That's why it's going to be a very tedious study. This is what I desire to do. I just don't want to show you this
Yes.
and not give you all the details. I want you to know where he at.
Yes.
So Joseph knows that God. Joseph is familiar with all of this. Joseph is familiar with everything that's going on, everything we see here. Joseph is familiar with it. Joseph is familiar with this. Yes, he is. Joseph is familiar with this. Joseph knows because he's there. He's there. Atum was the great primeval deity of Heliopolis. His cult was a very ancient one, and by the Old Kingdom, he had risen to a very high level of importance in Heliopolitan theology. You see it right there. It says Heliopolitan Enad. That's what it says. Heliopolitan Enad. Horus and Osiris is the same. Horus is just the resurrection of Osiris. That's all Horus is. Okay? Okay. All right. It says Atum is one of the 8 or 9 most frequently mentioned gods in the pyramid text. And we thus have a good deal of early information regarding the god's mythological roles, characteristics. His most essential nature, we talked about Atum, is that of self-engendered one. Y'all missed it.
Self-engendered.
What do that mean?
That pregnant by self.
Thank you. He got himself pregnant. He was born of his own self. Not self-existent. You got it, Carolyn. Not self-existent one. You got it, Carolyn. You got it, Carolyn. He wasn't a self-existent one. Mama picked He was a self-engendered one. Say he birthed himself. Praise God for two of y'all. See, I told you it's going to be good. Now Joseph is down there now, right?
Yes.
It says his most essential nature, watch this, is that of the self-engendered one who arose at the beginning of time and who created the first gods through his singing. This is mythology. This is not true. It's just a story. They had to create their own stories about their gods.
What?
So in
What?
so in so Memphis created their own story. Heliopolis created their own story. Heliopolis created their own story. And Thebes had their own story of the beginning of time. So all of this is what? What is it? What is it? If it's human reason, what is it? What? If it's human reason, what is it? Thank you very much. It's man's imagination. I don't know, imagination and human reason is the same thing. You gotta connect. It's imagination. Aren't those images? Don't you see images? Y'all don't understand. Y'all still don't understand imagination. Imagination forms images. That's what imagination does. Imagination forms images. That's what imagination, it forms images. That's what imagination does. It forms images. That's what that's come out of imagination. And they only can form the image based on what they see. This is not a new image. They seen the hippopotamus. They seen the cat.
Okay.
So that lets you know cats was back there at that time.
Right.
They seen women with their dresses up like this. They seen the cow. So it's not nothing they invented. It's the creation that they are worshiping according to the interpretation of their mind, of their human reason. Okay?
Amen.
You understand now?
Yes.
That's good. All right. Let me go back to Atum. All right. Go back to me. All right. Okay. I'm going to read something to you. Blow your mind. Read something to you. Oh! I'm going to read this. I need to read this. Maybe I should read this. Maybe I'll read this. Yeah, I will read this. Let me read this Bible over here. Rule of the gods. Let me read this like that. This goes with this. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. It says in one of the ironies of ancient Egyptian religion, that although we must cope with the dearth of archaeological evidence regarding the origin of the gods, Mizraim texts, remember it's just Mizraim, it's not Cush. There's only one race of people, you got to keep that in mind. There's only one family, and that's Mizraim. You got to keep that in mind. It's not Cush, it's only Mizraim. Mizraim's texts of the later periods contain many clear yet often seemingly contradictory accounts of their mythic genesis. Rule of the cosmos. That's the heavens, the world, the sky. In recent years, many Egyptologists have come to feel that these varying accounts may not simply reflect the conflicting traditions of different cult centers. See, you had a different cult in what? Heliopolis. You had a different cult where in Memphis. You had a different cult in Thebes. And you had a different cult in Heliopolis. You had a different cult. But that's what confuses them. Don't confuse us. As long as been assumed, but can instead be seen as different shapes of an underlying understanding of how the world and its creator gods came to be. Certainly there was no single unified Egyptian myth of creation. It didn't have no unified myth, no one that all of it harmonized together. Because you had the different one in Heliopolis, different one in Heliopolis or Atum, the different one in Thebes, the different one in Memphis. You understand?
Yes.
But the major cosmogonies, where's your cosmic gods out there? Who's your cosmic gods up there?
Kib and Nut.
Wait, slow down. Ain't no Isis, no cosmic god up there. Who's your cosmic gods up there, Carolyn?
Gib, Nut, and Tel, Nut, and Shu.
Thank you. Shu, Tep, Nut, Gib, and Nut. Who is your gods of the living world, of the earth?
Isis.
Isis, Osiris, Nephthys, Set, Horus, and Anubis. You can see it up there. Those gods, that's world of the living. The other one was the cosmos gods of the air and the sky. Those are the cosmos. You see Shu, Gib, Tefnut, and Nut. The one who created them, they came out of Atum. Right?
Yes.
You had Shu and Tefnut gave birth to Gib and Nut, right?
Yes.
Gib and Nut gave birth to Isis, Osiris, and Nephthys, right?
Yes.
Right? And Seth, right?
Yes.
And Isis and Osiris gave birth to Horus, right?
Yes.
I think Osiris and Nephthys gave birth to Anubis. Y'all see it?
Yes.
Y'all understand?
Yes.
I don't understand this.
What?
The
Which one you don't understand?
graph. Okay.
What did he do?
He gave birth to.
What did he do? What did he do?
Created himself.
He created himself.
Created himself.
And out of him came Tefnut,
And Shu.
Shu. Wait a minute. Out of him came Tefnut and Shu.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Out of Tefnut and Shu came
Jed.
Gib, and Nut, or Nut. Out of Gib and Nut came Isis, Osiris, and Nephthys. Out of Osiris and Nephthys, Anubis, right?
Yes.
Out of Isis and Osiris,
Horus.
Horus.
Where Seth come from?
Seth came from Osiris and Nephthys, right? Yeah.
Gab and Nut.
What?
Gab and Nut.
Yeah. Gab and Nut had how many children?
4.
4. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't see. Gab and Nut got 4 children. Isis, Osiris, Nephthys, and Seth.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Osiris and Nephthys got 1 child, right?
Right.
Anubis, right?
Right.
Isis had another child with Osiris, right?
Yes.
That's Horus.
Yes.
So these 3 go together, right?
Yeah.
These go together, right?
Yes.
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 Osiris, Nephthys, and Anubis, and Anubis.
Correct.
Then you got Isis, Osiris, and Horus, correct?
Yes.
Then you got Gab and Nut, where you get Isis, Osiris, Nephthys, and Seth.
Yes.
You got it now? You still lost, mama?
I'm getting it.
Oh, he not gonna remember you saying he engendered himself. He didn't create himself. So after he created himself, he created Shu and Tefnut.
Brothers and sisters.
Right.
They got married.
Thank you very much. It was his sister wife.
Sister wife.
That's why y'all like, what? It don't make sense. I know it. That's how they did.
Yeah.
Married his sister, that would be his sister and his wife at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what's throwing you off now. Okay? Let me read this. Let me read this. It says, certainly there was no single unified Egyptian myth of creation, but the major cosmogonies are stories of the origins of the universe, and theogonies, stories of the origins of the gods, associated with the most cult centers. The most important cult centers may be more like than as first apparent. In Hermopolis, Hermopolis, and Hermopolis. I didn't see that. Where's that? I thought I seen that. See, all over me. There.
There.
In Hermopolis. Hermopolis was where at? In Operation. This map shows you, it don't show you Hermopolis on it. It just shows you Lower Egypt, doesn't it?
Yes.
But down in Hermopolis, in Middle Egypt, there existed a development myth of creation by means of 8 original deities, the so-called Abdoad, or group of 8, who represented aspects of the original cosmos. Now, this group of 8, that they were in 75, 77. They were in Hermopolis, the Abdads, group of 8. You had Nun, Het, Ket, Amun, Nana, Haha, Kaka, and Amnuet. I'm going to show you that. And I'm going to take some pictures of it and I'm going to have them so you can see. That was the Abdoads. That was in Hermopolis. Okay? Help me, Holy Spirit. In Heliopolis, you got the Greek term Ennead is the equivalent of the Egyptian Pesachit 9, which may refer to any group of 9 gods. In the pyramid text, for example, we find the great Ennead, a lesser Ennead, dual Ennead, plural Enneads, and even the 7 Enneads. As 3 plurality multiplied by itself, the number 9 seems to have been represented. The concept of a great number was used of many groups. More commonly, y'all with me?
Yes.
The number appears in conjunction with the great Ennead of Heliopolis, which bound together related deities. The group consisted of Atum, the so-called father of the Ennead. Look at your picture on the, oh, excuse me, I thought I had it up. Now, come on. Here we go right here. Most commonly, the number appears in conjunction with the great Ennead, the great 9. E-N-E-E-A-D means the great 9 of Heliopolis, which bound together 9 related deities. The group consisted of Atum, the so-called father of the great 9, Geb, and Nut, and great-grandchildren Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. A variant of this Ennead include Horus the Elder and second born after Osiris. Although this group may have been constructed by the priestess of Heliopolis, or the priest of who? Or by who? You're not listening. Or by who? Listen. Constructed by the priestess of Heliopolis, or by who? You're not paying attention, Karen. You're not paying attention. You're not paying attention, Cleo. Cleo, you're not paying attention. You're not listening. You're not hearing, Cleo. You're not hearing, Van. You're looking up at the TV. That let me know you're not hearing. Listen again. Although this group that we seen on the screen, Van, you need to be at your Bible. You're not listening. Although this group may have been constructed by the priestess. Or by who? Atum, Pharaoh. Slow down. It's not hard. Y'all need to slow down. I pronounced it for you. Atum, Pharaoh. P-O-T-I-P-H-E-R-A-A, Pharaoh. It's pronounced like an L. Pot of Pharaoh. We pronounced it 100 times. So who was head of the group? A priest. Pot of Pharaoh. They're in Heliopolis. Heliopolis is on. I'm reading to you. He said, although this group that we see on the TV screen, that group was constructed by the priests of Heliopolis. So it was constructed by who? Come out of his imagination. That's who Potiphar was. He was a priest of Heliopolis, a priest of Nun. That's what I'm reading to you. I'm reading to you what the historical book says, and I'm lining it up with the scripture.
That was Joseph's wife's father.
That was Asenath. Look at your Bible. That's Asenath dad. Thank you very much. You don't have to say Joseph's wife. They give you the name of Joseph's wife. You don't have to say Joseph's wife. You don't. Because the Bible gives you the name of Joseph's wife, and God did not put that in there for nothing. And I keep telling you guys that I love y'all. Every one of the words in the Bible is important. Asenath's daddy was a priest of Heliopolis. He worshipped Atum and the great nine. The great nine. Enoch, the great nine. Shu, Tefnut, Gil, Nut, Osiris, Isis, Set, Nephthys. Right?
Yes.
How many is that? You got Gil,
9.
Nut, you got Shu, and Tefnut, right? How many is that? 4. You got Shu and Tefnut. How many is that? 2. You got Gab and Nut. How many is that? 2. Oh, God help me. Boy, y'all worse than my grandchildren. Y'all worse than my grandchildren. Y'all can't even act. You got Shu and Tefnut. How many is that? 2. You got Gab and Nut. How many is that? 4. You got Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. How many is that?
8.
Well, they say it was 9. Who was the 9th?
Anubis.
What? Anubis.
Anubis.
Anubis is pronounced what? Anubis. Well, you probably need to move then. The last one is Anubis. So that's the great 9. Right?
Yes.
That's the great 9, right?
Yes.
Atum will make what?
10.
Oh, God, come on, Cleo. Come on, Cleo. You can't ask, son. You worse than my grandchildren. Atum would make what?
10.
Thank you. I said the great 9, Atum plus 1 would make 10, Cleo. And that don't look like that, right? You look at me like, what do you mean, preacher? I can't count. We said the great 9. I named you 8, didn't I?
Yes.
I named 8. Stop. Y'all need to listen and stop trying to teach. Y'all need to listen. It said it was 9, didn't it?
Yes.
Didn't it?
Yes.
All right then. Say the great 9. So you got Shu and Tefnut. How many is that?
2.
Gab and Nut. How many is that?
4.
Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. How many is that?
8.
So you need another one, right? Because it's the great 9, right?
Yes.
Who is the 9th one?
Anubis.
Anubis. You add Atum with him, how many you get?
10.
Thank you very much. How many plays God sent up on Egypt?
10.
All right then, that's what I'm trying to teach. He sent 10 plays on Egypt. He judged each one of their so-called gods. I'm trying to get you to understand. They was in Heliopolis. They was in Lower Egypt. So we can identify that they was in Lower Egypt based on the God and the gods that they served in Egypt in history and line it up with Genesis chapter 41, 45, and 50. Honest Heliopolis. What do you want?
When he said the 10 plagues, in which are all different locations, when the 10 plagues, when he said the 10
It was in
plagues,
Heliopolis, Carol.
okay, in Heliopolis,
That's where they served those 10 gods. That's where they served the God at Atum. It's just like we said in Chicago, Carolyn, and everybody serving these denominations. It's not no 10 locations. They in Lower Egypt. He didn't send them down in Upper Egypt. Where's Heliopolis at? All right, then, that's what we're looking at, correct?
Yes.
All right, then. What we looking at? Heliopolis. Where's Heliopolis at? Lower Egypt is Heliopolis. That's Greek. In the Hebrew, it's called On. O-N. We don't know the chord?
yes.
All right, then. Let me finish this. Go back over here and read. Are we together now?
Yes.
All right. Although this group may have been constructed by the priests of Heliopolis in order to incorporate Osiris and his related deities into their own theological system in a manner which placed the neither world God in a lower position than their own sun god, together with various gods of Heliopolitan Enad, nevertheless formed a group of great meaning. The deities represented were not only those of creation, but also of afterlife through Osiris and his eventual son Horus, of the ideology and mythology of kingship. Thus, the three areas which are arguably the most important concepts in ancient Egypt religion, the most important concepts in ancient Egypt religion were contained within the Heliopolitan Enad. And that's exactly what it says. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Other cult centers, deities, to which they awarded special veneration, as in the temple of Re-Re-Sia in the eastern desert, were Amon, Re, Osiris, and Ptah. Isis and Osiris was grouped into an Enad through the addition of three forms of the deified Sethos the first. We'll get into that later. And that's what just told me. Amon was a different god in a different cult center. You don't see Amun or Amon there, A-M-U-N. You don't see Re or Ra, R-E or R-A there. But Amun, Re, Osiris, and Ptah, the ones I'm naming now, was the same as Atum. But in Memphis, they probably call him something else. In Thebes, they call him something else. It all depends on what it was, the name they gave. Do y'all understand?
Yes.
Okay, then. Depends on the location. Depends on the location they was at. So I want to read this to you about Atum, okay?
Okay.
All right. It said that according to the Hermocalian group, the 8 primordial deities existed in 4 pairs. The first order deities or gods existed in 4 pairs of male and female, each associated with a specific aspect or element of the pre-creation. Noon or Nu, and Nana, water. Hey, Hayet, infinity. Ket, Kaket, darkness. Amun, Amanat, hiddenness. These original elements were believed to be inert yet to contain the potential for creation. James Hoffmeyer has shown that interesting similarities exist between these elements and the conditions listed as immediately before to the creation account of the biblical book of Genesis. In Egypt, however, the members of the Ogdoad were regarded as distinct divine entities, and their names were grammatically masculine and feminine to reflect the equating of creation with sexual union and birth. That's why they got a name like that. That's what y'all see, right? Don't you see their children? They were called the fathers and mothers of the sun god. That's what they're called, the fathers and mothers of the sun god. Since the deity was the focal point of ongoing creation in hermopolitan worldview as he was elsewhere. I'm going to skip this. I'm going down to the power of the sun god, the Heliopolitan view, which we're looking at. This is the way they see it. Are we on one accord? All right. He says Heliopolis, the chief center of solar worship or sun worship. Produce a somewhat different mythic system built around the so-called Ennead, or group of 9 deities, which consisted of the sun god and 8 of his descendants. The Heliopolitan theologians naturally stress the role of the sun god. Who is the sun god? Who is the sun god? Ma, look at the screen. Who is the sun god? Atum. He's the sun god. It depends on where you at, what name you're going to give it. So they in Heliopolis. They in On, right?
Yes.
So what's his name? Atum. If you go to Memphis, his name might be Ptah. If you go to Heliopolis, his name may be Ra. It depends on where you at. So, Erica, since we in Heliopolis, since we're in On, you cannot call him Ptah. They cut your head off. They'll kill you. Because in Heliopolis, his name is Atum. Do we understand?
Yes.
It's just like I'm going to, if I was to go into a kingdom hall, I'm not going to be preaching no predestination and the sovereignty of God, am I? If I go into a Baptist church, can I preach predestination and the sovereignty of God? Well, don't you come in here and call our God Ra? Don't you come in here and call our God Amun? Don't come in here and call our God Osiris. His name is Atum. Trying to get y'all to understand. Come in here talking about no Jesus is God. He ain't nothing but a son. They're not coming in to go to no kingdom hall talking about Jesus is God. No. You come in here and call him no Atum. You in Heliopolis. But in Heliopolis, you do as the Heliopolitans. And that's true wherever you go.
Yes, it is.
That's true wherever you go. Well, where do you think it started at? It started in Egypt. You don't come in Israel worshiping Atum, you worship Jehovah. They're not going to come down, go down there and call him no rock. They run you out of there. Do y'all understand now?
Yes.
You in Heliopolis. When we in Genesis chapter 41, verses 45 and 50, where are we at?
Heliopolis.
Where at?
Low region.
Thank you very much. We in Heliopolis and Lower Egypt. We in Heliopolis and Lower Egypt, worshiping those gods. Don't you think Joseph down there worshiping no Jehovah? You crazy? Joseph ain't down there worshiping no Jehovah God. You crazy? He's second under Pharaoh. Pharaoh believes he's born of the son. He believes the son is his father. Pharaoh believes he's a god. And he said the son is my father. Pharaoh don't mean nothing but great house. Pharaoh said. Pharaoh means great house. That's what Pharaoh means. Pharaoh means great house. That's right, Van. Put it in your book. Cleo didn't write it in his Bible. I'm watching them now. You should have wrote that in your Bible, in your book. So y'all not paying attention. Pharaoh means great house. That's what Pharaoh means. So let me explain this to you. This may help you. The power of the sun god, the Heliopolitan view. That's what you're looking at. This is what Joseph was. That's why this is important. This is what Joseph was. Heliopolis is chief center of solar worship. What do solar mean, Carolyn?
Sun.
Sun. S-O-L-A-R means sun. What do L-U-N-A-R means, Lolita? What do L-U-N-A-R means?
Sun.
L-U-N-A-R equal moon. I need to write this in your book. S-O-L-A-R equal sun. You can know the difference. And this is what I've been telling you guys. The Heliopolitan, excuse me. The Heliopolitan theologians naturally stress the role of the sun god in their creation stories, which focus as a result not so much on the inner aspects of pre-existence, but on the dynamic aspects of the resulting creation itself. The form of the sun god usually associated with this creation was Atum. You in Heliopolis. Heliopolis. It's Heliopolis. Lower Egypt. Called in Bible on Genesis 21, 25, right?
No.
No, 45.
41, 45, and 50. God okay, maybe that's all. The form of the sun god usually associated with this creation was Atum, who was sometimes said to have existed within the old waters in his egg as a way of explaining the beginning of the god. At the moment of creation, Atum was said to have been born out of the primordial flood as he who came into being by himself, thus becoming the source of all further creation. Atum equal source. He's the source. Everything comes out of him. Everything comes out of Atum. He's the source. The God next produced. He produced two children, Shu and Er. Shu is air. He produced Shu. He produced Shu. Yes? H-E. Shu equal air. And Tefnut, right? Tefnut equal moisture. Air and moisture are where at? Cosmos. That's a cosmos. Cosmos. Okay, that's what it says up there, cosmos. You see them, both of them up there. Okay, cosmos. From himself. Several versions of the story exist, but in all of them, Atum's children are produced through the exhalation of the God's body fluids, or, y'all ready? Yeah. This is how these children, they say it's important. This is what I wanted to read to you. It says, Atum's children, who was his children?
Shu and Tefnut.
Several versions of the story exist. I got his children up on the board. I got everything that you need to know up on the board. I got everything up there. They're going to show you. Air and moisture. I got everything you need on the board. You don't have to guess at anything. All you got to do is just pay attention. You don't have to guess at nothing. You don't have to guess. Atum was said to have been born out of the primordial flood as he came into being by himself. The first flood. He was born out of the flood. He was born out of the flood. So if he was born out of the flood, when was he born? Between Genesis 6 and 7, because see, that's what you need to know your Bible. When did God see the flood? That's what I'm asking. The first flood, primordial flood. So when I'm asking you about the flood, you need to know your Bible. Because he's born out of the flood.
Yep.
He came out of the flood. So you need to know your Bible. If he can't say, he came out of the flood as he, let me go back. Atum was sometime said to have existed within the old waters in his egg. What is the egg? The egg is the ark. The egg is the ark. The egg is the ark. You need to know your Bible. If you don't know your Bible, they can't invent a story. How? They can't invent nothing.
It just took for
They got to have a model or a pattern.
Yeah.
They have to have something to pattern their mind after their beliefs after. They got to have something on it. They just can't.
They can't come up with nothing.
Right. You just can't conjure nothing out.
Oh.
So they look back at the flood and call the ark an egg.
Because in there was life.
What was in the throne?
Life. 8 souls.
And the animals.
Yes, sir.
And they were saved through the water. So they gonna worship that Nile River, boy. So the egg would be equal to the ark. They went all the way back to the flood. Tell me, Ham didn't know it, brother. He was in awe. Ham was in awe.
That's me. I'm me. That's me.
So everybody created their own story when they came out of God. The descendants of Ham, Ham pissed off. You gotta remember, Ham pissed off. Why? He gonna curse, can't he?
And curse.
Hell with God in his correction. I'm gonna tell you how that happened. You got it now. Human reason is dangerous. I don't know why y'all don't see all this. Not all this I'm teaching y'all. Human reason is evil. It's dangerous. All that is human reason right there. That's human reason. You know God don't shoot. You know air. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. All things was made by him. Without him was not anything made that was made. If you don't know your scriptures, you're going to be lost. So I tell y'all to read your Bible. Learn your scriptures. Know your scriptures. The egg is a picture of art. It was an egg. That's not. The egg is. What about the womb? Do it got eggs? Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. It's a picture of life, ain't it?
Yep.
They worship the womb. They worship the penis. Out of it come life. That's what I read to you. Anything that had to do with life, they made it a god. The vagina, do the vagina have to do with life?
Yes.
You're going to make it a god. Do the penis have to do with life?
Oh, yeah.
What about the scrotum?
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to make it a god. What'd you say, Vincent?
Something they have seen.
Something they have seen.
They made something out of it.
A god out of it. This is so simple. If you listen, you know your Bible. At the moment of creation, Atum was said to have been born out of the primordial flood, as he who came into being by himself, thus becoming the source of all further creation. They're going to worship the Nile? Yeah. They say when that Nile River comes, after that Nile River rises up and that Nile River comes in, everything through there was green, man.
Hey, preacher.
What?
No Noah. No mention of him.
Huh?
No mention of Noah.
What?
No mention of Noah.
What?
No mention of Noah.
What?
No mention of Noah.
Pissed off at Noah. Don't mention Noah. My daddy cursed my son. Said what I did to him was wrong. I look up on his neck. Couldn't get Ham. God had already blessed him. God had already blessed him. Couldn't get Ham. The God next produced 2 children. Shu, air, Tefnu, moisture. Right? Right. Shu, air, Tefnu, moisture. Shu is air, Tefnu is moisture. From himself, came out of him. That's cosmos gods. They're in the air. Several versions of the story. This is what I want y'all to listen to. Now listen. Several versions of the story exist, but in all of them, Atum's children are produced through the exhalation of the god's body fluids or mucus, either through the metaphor of masturbation, spitting, or sneezing. Why? When you sneeze, what do? You sneeze moisture in the air. You got it, Eric.
As we get a
Then the moisture comes out of your mouth. It's deaf new. What about when a man masturbates? That's a body fluid. What about when a man spit? That's a body fluid. So it was either created by or masturbating. Yeah, they did.
What she said?
They was gone.
Imagination was on 10.
That's why God don't put his approval on masturbation. So, the first pair produced their own children. Give.
Not. You're locked up.
Give. I gotta find out how she get Anubis in here.
I did.
I'm going to read about Anubis. Let me go over here and read about Anubis. Let me do this, and we're going to find out how she put Anubis in here. Because I'm saying 9, but it's Anubis is in here. I got to find out how she get him in there. Y'all with me?
yeah.
Yeah. Now you understand?
Yes.
It's becoming a little bit better to you.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
All right. So the first pair produced their own children. You got give equal earth. The first pair produced their own children. Who was the first pair? Shiv. You got it right on the board. You got it right up there, so I don't have to write it up. So who they produce? Give. And he equal earth, right? You got give that equal the earth. You got give that equal earth, right? And then you got nut or newt, right? Then you got newt or nut, right?
Yeah.
And sky. I hope y'all write this in your books.
Yes.
So now you know what it is. So now all of this is what? A cosmos. That's the cosmos. Now you got your cosmos, right?
Yeah.
You got your cosmos. You got Shu, which equal to air. Temp, that's what equal moisture. You got give, that's the earth and sky. Now you got your cosmos, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Now you got your cosmos. Now, give and Newt, who took their respective places below and above their parents. They took their respective places. There they go right there, below and above their parents. There go to Pharaoh right there with the crown on his head. That Pharaoh right there with the crown on his head. We'll be teaching y'all this. That's the Pharaoh. He got upper and lower Egypt on his head.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That's upper and lower Egypt right there. Up. That right there is up, and that white crown, that's upper and lower Egypt. Right? You got the air god Shu, assisted by other deities, supports the goddess Nu, above her husband, the earth. Let me show you what I got here.
How to?
Show you what I got. Right there today was gone. It's not even that. That's what I'm looking at. Wrong thing, man.
There you go.
That's what I'm looking at right there. Draw a picture of it right there. There you go right there. See it? You got, let me explain, you got the air god Shu, assisted by other deities, supports the sky goddess. What is he supporting? What is he supporting? Support. You don't know what, you gotta know what support means. Thank you very much, Eric. You gotta know what the word support means. You don't know what support means, you can't ask. That's what he's supporting. What is he supporting, Eric?
Her breast and her vagina.
Or what?
Her.
You don't understand? Life.
Yeah.
That's what nourishes the child right there. That's where the child comes from right there. There you go right there. That's what I'm looking at. This was, what was this located in? It was, what was this located at? You're still not understanding, Eric.
Heliopolis.
Or where at? Thank you. Heliopolis or on in Lord Egypt. You just cannot say Lord Egypt, Eric. There's a whole lot of places, Eric, in Lord Egypt. What was this located at? Heliopolis or on in Lord Egypt. Do you understand what I'm saying? You just cannot say Lord Egypt. No, you cannot. It's a lot of towns, cities, and villages where at. Thank you very much. You're not located in Chicago, are you? Where are you located at? Blue Island in the Chicago vicinity. You in Chicago land, in Blue Island. You're not just located in Chicago or Illinois. You in a specific place, aren't you? Okay, that's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. So don't be so quick to answer. They in On, which is Heliopolis in the Greek, is called Heliopolis. The Greek conquered Alexander the Great, conquered On, and he changed the name to Heliopolis, Charles. In the Old Testament, it's called On. In Genesis 41, 45, and 50, it's called On. When Alexander the Great conquered the world in 331 BC, right? 331? 331 BC, he changed the name to Heliopolis. That's Greek. That's the city of the sun. That's what Heliopolis means. It's in Lower Egypt. Got it up here. Pay attention. They got what kind of god? Do they got a lunar god or a solar god?
Solar.
They got a solar god. They worship the sun. Don't tell me Joseph didn't know. Joseph not down there worshiping no Jehovah God. No, Joseph not. Joseph in a what? What is Joseph in? What is Joseph in? Van? What is Joseph in? You don't know. You wrote it down, but you don't know. I said, what is Joseph in? Joseph is in what?
Oh.
What is Joseph in, Van?
Yep. Yep.
No. What is Joseph in, man? What is he in? Oh, man, Pharaoh means y'all a great house. That's what Pharaoh means. Joseph in a great house. House of what? House of the sun, man. You crazy? Joseph in the house of the sun. Pharaoh means great house. This word in the Egypt is I think it's Pharaoh. Don't write it down. Don't take it. Don't write it. Let me not put it up there. I'm going to give you the wrong thing. And I think it's Pharaoh or Pharaoh. Oh, I think it's Pharaoh. I think it's P-E-R-R-O. Pharaoh or Pharaoh. Yeah, that's what I think it is in Egyptian. But he's down there where Joseph is in Genesis 41, 45, and 50. Joseph is in On. On is the Hebrew word, that's the Bible name. Alexander the Great conquers Egypt. He changes to Heliopolis. That's called a polis, people. Helio, that means sun. You look up sun. Go, pick up your dictionary, look up the word sun. It's going to tell you Heli or Helios. That's the polis or the people of the sun, the city of the sun. Polis, people of the sun, city of the sun. That's in Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt is in the north. Lower Egypt is in the north. Those are all the cataracts I was telling you about. You see how it break off? Those are the cataracts that break off. You had the Lake Victoria. Well, out of Lake Victoria, that's where you got your river now. It ran through here, through all of these cataracts up here. It ran right off into the Mediterranean Sea. But all of these in the town, you can see all this land around here is very fertile. You see how fertile that is? You see how green that is? See how dry that is? When you see the green, that means fertility. That means life. When you see green on a map like that, that means fertility and life. You can see green up here. That's fertility here, but up here you ain't got none. These all mountains up here. When you see the green on the map, that's fertility. That's what growth is. Verdue, V-E-R-D-U-E, it's green. So grass grows, food grows. You got fertility there. Your cattle can live there. You can live there. You got life. When you see the little brown areas and dry like that, that's desert land. It's dry, no water. Don't you see it's in the Nile River? Can't do nothing but be fertile. Got a river running right through it. Can't be nothing but fertile. Then you got all these cataracts running through there. Dr. Rome called it the breadbasket of the world. Yeah, they call it the fed the whole world. Land so fertile, what's the fed? It's Canaan. Canaan was in Africa. That's what Canaan was. Canaan was in Egypt. Land of Canaan. Canaan ran right up there. That whole land was fertile. All that was fertile around there. Padam Aram, he stayed there with some water there. The water Nebula, Hamath, Kadesh. Not too much. Padam Haram. When you went to the wells, that's what Jacob was. That's why I keep telling you, very important for us to learn this now. You should not be reading your Bible anymore from this day forward without looking at your map.
Amen.
Should not be reading your Bible from this day forward without looking at your maps. You should be looking at your maps all the time when you read your Bible so you know these places. From this day forward, you should be looking at your map. You're not reading no passage. I don't care where you read it in the Bible. Go get your map. And look on your map and find out where the place is at. Don't keep reading. That's dumb, man.
Yes,
Yeah, that's dumb. You read about the law. Well, you read it. So since you don't know what it is, you skip over. You're too sluggish and lazy to go and find out where it's at. So this is what I'm looking at, so y'all guys can understand what I'm saying. The air god Shu, assisted by other deities, supports the sky goddess Nut. Above her husband, the earth god, Geb. Geb is the earth god. Nut is the sky god. Leo's plugged in. This thing, you have to do something about this. No, it's not good. The Leo's plugged in, but it's not good. This thing is loose too. Okay. The air god Shu, assisted by other deities, supports the sky goddess Nut. Above her husband, Nut is above her husband. Notice above her husband, Gail. All right. So that's what I'm looking at, so you can have an idea. And then I had showed you that other picture that I had. This one I'm going to. I can do this now. I can do this now. This one right here. See, it says the God self supporting nut on heaven. You see, he got all them arcs around his arm. That's life. Then you have different forms of God. You see all these arcs they got, which symbolize life. You see all them arcs they got, symbolize life. You can see the goose in there. You can see the eye of Osiris in there. You see the hawk in there. You see Pharaoh down there with his 2 crowns on. You see the queen sitting there. You see Anubis over there. You see all them gods. You see all of them gods there. They got God there. They got God right there. You can see all these gods over there. You can see all this little God right over there in the corner. They got God there. You got Osiris there with the hawk head. You got Horus in here. You got all of these symbols of life wrapped around his arms. There you go. You got the goose right there. You got the stars there. You got her right there. That's a picture. That's another picture of it. I got another picture of it. Where's my other picture of it? This is the one I'm going to read to. I'm going to read this to you right now. Where's my other picture? This is in the Book of the Dead. That comes out of that book right there. The last picture. This is the book right here. You see it right here. You see it, a picture of it here. Let me read this to you out of the Book of the Dead. This is what Joseph seen. Don't you ever forget that. This is located where we're at.
Heliopolis.
Heliopolis. Where is it at?
Lower Egypt.
Where is Joseph at?
Heliopolis.
Which is located.
Lower Egypt.
Okay, you don't have Heliopolis in the Bible, church. That's why I keep saying it to you. I say, wait a minute, Carolyn. Come on. You don't have Heliopolis in the Bible because you in the book of Genesis, Alexander the Great has not conquered the world yet. Y'all gotta listen. Stop being so fast to think you understand. You in Genesis. Alexander the Great is not even born yet. When I give you Heliopolis, that's the name the world puts on it. It gives it its Greek name because that's the name it is because God is the one who sent Alexander the Great down there to conquer Egypt. You gotta listen. You gotta keep things in its proper perspective. It's On. On is Heliopolis, located in Lower Egypt. Lower Egypt is in the north. In Genesis, Heliopolis, which is the name of it today, on this Saturday, because Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, he called it Heliopolis, city of the sun. Before he called it that. I got it in the Bible, called in Bible On. I got it right here on the board. I don't know why y'all won't just pay attention. It's called in the Bible On. Genesis 41, 45, and 50. On the map, it don't get on. Because it's not. It's Heliopolis now. Because God is the one who sent Alexander the Great down there to conquer Egypt and Grecianized the whole world. Do we understand?
Yes.
So when I say Heliopolis, you got to come back with on. When I say on, you got to come back with Heliopolis. And where is it located? In Lower Egypt. I got to stop that. You got to listen and keep things in its proper perspective. Because you're going to tell somebody about some on, they don't know nothing about no on. You go to one of these universities, they don't know nothing about no Genesis. They don't teach the Bible. And I found this out listening to lectures. That's how I found it out.
Yes.
And this is a college man giving lectures to college students. Yes.
In the back of your Schofield Bible map too, you got Heliopolis, and then you got on in the
You do?
Yeah.
Praise God. That's why I told you you need to look at math. Thank you, James Brown. Thank you, James Brown. That's why I told you to look at where you at so they can see it, James Brown.
in the Schofield Bible map too in the back.
Map 2 in the back. Hey, praise God for you, James Brown. Map 2, he said in the back. They got Heliopolis, he said in parentheses, they got on. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, James Brown. So now you know you got a map. You need to look at your maps. Thank you very much. Thank you, James Brown. That's exactly what I keep telling y'all. It's Heliopolis today in 2019. It's not on. You can't call it on now, can you? Because Alexander the Great don't conquer it and change the name. All he did was put a Greek name on it. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. And it's located in Lower Egypt. Where's Lower Egypt at? The north. North of what? North of what? North of what? Who said north? North of what? I'm talking. North of what, Cleo? North of what, Eric?
North of Upper Egypt.
What?
North of Upper Egypt.
I can't even speak up.
North of Upper Egypt.
Thank you. It's north of Upper Egypt. Upper Egypt is south. Lower Egypt is north. You, being an American, you say, that ain't upper and lower. Yes, sir.
I was thinking about it. They call it Upper Egypt because of the elevation of the land.
Thank you, because the topographical, you understand. That's why they call it Upper Egypt, because of the topographical location of the land. Thank you very much. They call it Lower Egypt because of the topographical, because of the typographic where the land was located. You understand everything. I didn't even have to tell you that. Thank you very much. Holy Spirit teaching you something. They call it Memphis. It wasn't Memphis, it was North. But they call it Memphis now. But it's not Memphis, it's North. But it's not North because they changed the name. Originally it was called North. No, it's Memphis. But they changed the name of everything. Okay? Yeah. So you need to look at your maps. You look at your maps, you can see at this time, what I'm showing you is what was going on in Genesis chapter 41, verse 45 and 50. That's what we're studying. Atum was the God that was being worshipped at this time. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's what I'm showing y'all.
Preacher, what were you referring to when you were talking about the lesson, the college? What were you referring to?
Some lectures that I'm listening to. You know those lectures I bought?
Yeah.
General courses?
Yes.
I bought some on the whole Middle East.
Okay.
And so what I did was I said, man, I got these lectures. I forgot I had them. And when I began to listen to them, that's what he was explaining.
Okay.
And I'm fascinated.
I hear you.
That's why I know so much information about it.
Understandable.
That's why I know so much information about it. That's why I know they call Rome the bread, they call Egypt the bread basket. That's why I know so much about location, about Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. I didn't know it, I studied, so that's why I've been watching these lectures. I watch them every day, 3-4 hours a day. Instead of me watching the other stuff and macrame my mind, I throw me a lecture in. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you.
So late at night, when I get ready to go to bed, I'm throwing me a lecture in. Instead of watching that, I won't be led into lust and adultery and spiritual fornication. You understand what I'm saying? You got to discipline yourself.
Yes.
That's what our problem is. We won't discipline ourselves. That's tomorrow's message. And you need to discipline yourself. You need to discipline your mind. Your mind is out of order. all your thinking is wrong. Everything you think is wrong. It's Tel Armani. It wasn't Tel Armani. It's Atum. And they changed the name. All they did was change the name. They had to change the name when they went over there. Because if they didn't change the name, their people wouldn't have understood nothing.
Yeah.
So when they get over there, they start getting these Greek names. So their people can understand. And so when Aristotle and them went down here, all they did was went in the libraries and stole all the books. That's what Aristotle and them did. When Alexander the Great conquered Egypt, they went over there and stole all of the books, changed the gods' color, changed their names, and put their names on it. That's all they did. And they say that in their own books.
Whitewashed.
So that's why I tell you, when I teach y'all this, I'm going to teach you in a different way. It's going to be always taught in a different way. But I want to line up with the scripture what time, a time factor, so you can see at this time, these are the gods that was worshipped when children of Israel was in Egypt. These are the gods, and the God that they call, because they believe in monotheism, whether the theologians, the Egyptologists want to say it or not. These are the things that they believe in, and these are the stories that they created based on Noah being a preacher of righteousness. It's just like your mother and your father taught you a whole different version of what the Bible means based on the culture they was raised in. You come from a different culture, your mama taught you a different way, your mama taught you a different way, your mama taught you a different way. Some of your parents didn't teach y'all at all. Y'all had no concept of a God unless you heard about him at a school or through a friend or somebody that invited you to a church. In some of y'all homes there was no God.
So,
You just heard about it somewhere else. So I'm going to read you this. I'm going to read you this. I ain't going through this. I'm going to read this part right here. Another very early view was that the sky god was the body of a gigantic woman. Do we see?
Yes.
The sky god, this is their view. They said the sky god is the body of a gigantic woman. Okay? And that it was supported by her 2 legs, 2 arms, which were the 4 pillars of heaven. The body of this sky woman was sometimes studded with stars. Do you see the stars?
Yes.
The sun was born each month and passing along her body towards her mouth. Do you see that?
Yes.
yes.
You do?
Yes.
Sure?
I don't see it.
And the sky god coming out of her mouth right there. That's along her body. Put the sky god right here, in case y'all don't know what the sky god is. The sun. Ain't gonna get it. You understand? She giving birth to the sun. This is good. This is what they believe. That's why it was dark. You remember when God sent the plague?
Mm-hmm.
Darkness over there. It was light
Right over there. In Goshen. I
Oh
remember.
yeah, this ain't how you go back and read Genesis. You can understand what God did when He sent the 10 plagues. I'm gonna have to go through the 10 plagues. He's judging Pharaoh's great house, Heliopolis. Heliopolis, Pharaoh, great house. Soul, sun god. The body of this sky woman was sometimes studded with stars.
Right,
The
right.
sun was born. The sun was born each morning and passed along her body towards her mouth, into which it disappeared in the evening, to be reborn the following morning. The night sky was supposed to be another woman. Right?
Yes.
What is this? What is this? Thank you, Carol. What is this, Carol? Thank you, Carol. What is this, Carol? The night sky was supposed to be another woman. You got one here. This is the night, right here. This is the night, right there. That's night. That's day. Let's see. Y'all want to go? Gonna have all different forms. We don't want to go. And the moon was born. And the moon was born. And having passed along her body, disappeared in her mouth. The sky women were well illustrated in the next illustration, 132, page 132. That's what it is. That's it right there. What you're looking at, I just took a picture of it. All I did was take a picture of it, put it in there so we can see. That's what you're looking at. That's what I'm reading about. Stuff is very important. You see why God judged it. This is the time of Joseph. I love it. The sky women were well illustrated in the next illustration, page 132, which is reproduced from Lazar Mythologia, tab 155. Here we have a woman whose body is decorated with two winged discs. See a body decorated with two winged discs? A body is decorated. She what? A body is what? Preach, Lolita. Tell us, Lolita. You doggone right. She tattooed. Where do you think the tattoos come from? She tattooed. Where do you think tattoos come from? Tattoos come out of Eve. Everything come out of Eve. So she tattooed. So they would tattoo their body, didn't they, y'all?
Yes, they did.
Y'all didn't know that? Everything come out of Eve. It's paganism. Tattooing is paganism.
They really tattooed.
Oh, she tattooed out there, body tattooed? Yeah, a body tattooed. Is her body tattooed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a body tattooed. That's the sun god right there. Yeah, a body tattooed. No, yeah, a body tattooed. A body tattooed. Yeah, a body tattooed. The body towards, excuse me, a woman whose body is decorated with two winged discs, which probably represent the morning and the evening sun. And you see this? Oh, shucks. How you make this thing on? What's going to go off? You gentlemen, knock this right. Eric, you got it's an auto lock. Oh, you got an auto lock in 15 minutes. That's what it is, Jeremiah, right? So after 15 minutes, it's going to automatically lock. So take it off 15 minutes. They'll never. Hey, I'm going to knock you down, Jeremiah. You slow. Let Eric beat you up. Let Eric beat you up. You weak. You got weak, man. A woman whose body is decorated with two winged discs, which properly represent the morning and the evening sun. What is it they did not? Who is the morning and the evening sun? Who is that? The morning, and the evening sun. It's a woman. Who was that? Today, what's that? Virgin Mary. Queen of Heaven. Also, that's what they worship, Queen of Heaven. Jesus is the bright and morning star. Don't you ever forget that? Because I was thinking of Jesus, you're crazy. He's not the morning star, he's the bright and morning star. All right, look. So you got the two winged discs, right? I love this right here, Lolita. Lolita, I love this. I love this. I love this. I love this. Boy, I'm learning. I love to learn. I'm learning. A woman whose body is decorated with two winged discs. I don't keep showing it to y'all. Y'all figure it out for yourself. You can see. Probably represent the morning and evening sun. She was a Sudani crown of plumes. She has a Sudani crown of plumes. Sudan!
Yeah.
See that, y'all? Sudani. Sudan crown of plumes on her head and wears armlets and bracelets. A smaller woman whose body is decorated with small discs. On her hand stands a god whose head touches the hands of a larger woman. And the back of the other are a large winged disc and some intermediate object wing. Round them are stars. By the shoulders, oh Lord have mercy, of the smaller woman is the goddess Nephthys, holding in her hands one of the two boats in which the sun sailed across the sky. And by the thigh stands the goddess Isis, holding the other boat. 3, a god lying on the ground with his arms stretched out along the ground, holding a disc in each hand. Hello? Holding a disc in each hand. His body is big, round to form a kind of circle, and his feet rest on the ground. The space enclosed is thought to represent the region where the dead live. Ain't that good? Ain't that good? Yeah, go right here. You guys understand. Now I want to finish reading to you about Atum. How did Atum, how was Atum children born? Through the exhalation of the God's body fluids. Let's bring back up Atum. Bring back up Atum. There you go right there. How was Atum's children born? His children was born as Atum. And we go preach good. Atum. How was Atum's children born? His children was born through the exhalation of the gods, Atum's body fluids, or they were born through mucus, either through the metaphor of masturbation, spitting, or sneezing. And the first pair produced their own children, Geb, which is earth, and Nut, sky, who took their respective places below and above their parent, giving the creation its full spatial extent. Geb and Nut then produced the deities Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys, who viewed from one perspective represented the fertile land of Egypt. Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. So you got Geb, right? I gave you that, right? Geb and Nut, that's earth and sky, right?
Yes.
Then they produce Osiris, Isis, Horus, Osiris, Isis, Osiris, Isis, Seth, and Nephthys. Okay, you got Osiris. He was God of underworld. That's hell. And you know what I can't understand, Mason? People always get mad, or we don't like to be told we going to hell if we die in sin. But Mason, can I ask you a question? Where else are we going? Where else is the person going? Do they think they're going somewhere else besides hell? Can't be going to heaven. No. So they can't go nowhere else. So why would an individual get angry, Mason, if you told them if they die in sin and they don't die believing in predestination, sovereignty of God, they're going to hell? Why would they get angry? Is there any other place to go besides hell? Do y'all understand what I'm saying? Why would you be? Where else are you going? Where else is you gonna go? Going to hell. Ain't no place else to go. Did your mama tell you that when you was a baby? Boy, you keep lying, you're gonna go to hell. Then you're grown and you don't deal with the hell you want to do, and the preacher tells you you're going to hell, you get mad. Did you get mad at your mama? Where else can you go? You can't go nowhere else. We're the stupidest people in the world. Where else you going? And I'm serious. I am serious. I'm not playing a game, and I'm not trying to be glib and funny. Where else are you going? Boy, no, ain't nowhere else to go. You're going to get angry. Where else you going? Set this to chaos deity. Deity means God. He's the God of chaos. He killed his brother. He killed his brother. Who was that, Harry?
Osiris.
Oh, Lord have mercy. He killed his brother. Who was that, Karen? Thank you very much. He killed his brother, Harry. This is what I was telling y'all about how Roman Catholicism have polluted it. Isis is parallel to, Nephthys is parallel to Isis. Isis. Parallel. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is good for y'all to know. This is parallel to Isis. And that's why I tell you, they made a one. Hello?
Yeah.
They made a one. In the beginning, I told y'all, some teachers back that she was two. She was mother and sister. They just made a mother. In Egypt, she was parallel to Isaac. She was mother and sister. Seth is a picture of Cain that kills his brother. He's the God of the underworld. So what he does is he resurrects. He resurrects and resurrects the horns. They didn't believe in heaven like we believe in heaven. They believed heaven was earth. They didn't believe in no going up to no sky. God set heaven down and bring it. They didn't believe in that. They couldn't. It wasn't revealed to them. So God has accomplished what I wanted y'all to understand. So now when we go through here, when we go to Genesis, you're going to notice that he destroys these gods. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I gotta find out how she ties, or how Anubis is tied into that. Here goes another picture of it. Here goes another picture. I don't know if I got this picture in my album, but I'm going to put it in here now. Just turn to another. Put another.
It's eating them off again.
Got some ties in the phone. Got some ties in the phone. This should keep falling out. It's loose too, real loose. It's not tight. Come on. Let it go. Here go another picture of it. Here go another. See, this says, Gaia, God of the earth, reclines beneath his spout nude. From whom he is separated by the air god Shu. The body of Geb is covered with hieroglyphs from reed, suggesting his fertile nature. It's good, man. Mm-hmm. So much y'all understand. See it? Mm-hmm. Geb, the god of earth, reclines beneath his spouse. Nude. Nude is in the middle, right? Who, what?
Yes.
From whom is separated the air god Shu, right?
Shoes up.
Who's at the top?
That's new.
Nude. Nude. Yeah. Shu. The air god Shu. The body of Geb is covered with hieroglyphs.
Shoe.
For a reason. For a reason, suggesting the fertile nature. Detail from the papyrus of Atomic. That's the 21st house. Hello?
Yes.
I want to see some of this. So, what?
Preacher,
So now, when we go into Genesis and start what?
I noticed something.
What?
So, when you looked up at the top and you seen the woman at the top, you seen the man in the middle, but you also seen the woman at the bottom. I noticed also when Isis is represented as throne, that's the authority. So they dealt with the woman being the highest.
That's right. They had
And that
no,
man is underneath.
They had no male. That's right. Even in Lower Egypt, I believe he was called Nekbet. The goddess was Nekbet. It was a vulture.
Right.
May have them both
You.
Baptists, but I know both of them was goddess. In Upper Egypt, it was Wajet, which was the Uraeus or the snake. The Pharaoh wore, name is Lucian. The Pharaoh wore the Uraeus. He wore the Uraeus and the Wajet. He wore the Uraeus and he wore the Wajet up on his head. That was, the Wajet is in Lower Egypt. The Cobra goddess Wajet. This is what he read, wrote on his crown. That's the Cobra. The Cobra goddess Wajet was associated with the Nile Delta region from earliest times and became the tutelary deity of Lower Egypt. So Pharaoh had this on his head. In Genesis chapter 41, on his crown. That's what Pharaoh had. That's called a Wajet. And he had what did I say? The neck back. See what I found out? They did not see the man as afraid. Yes, as Charles said, the woman was afraid. Neck back. See what I found out? It's going to be great. Because when we go in and start reading, because we're going to read about the destruction of 2:13. The vulture goddess. Right here, the vulture goddess Nebet. Yep, the vulture goddess Nebet, she of Nekhel, was the chief deity of ancient Nekhel, which was the capital of the third nome, N-O-M-E. Remember, N-O-M-E. Y'all gonna love this one when you learn. Carolyn, that's what he judged districts.
Right.
When you say preacher in
Right.
different places, yes, Carolyn. Because each nome had their own god. A nome was called a district, Carolyn. There go your answer right there. Thank you, Holy Spirit. There go your answer. You understand?
Yes.
So each one had their own district. That's what you was asking.
Yes.
Yes, it was called a nome. That's why I'm studying this stuff, so when y'all ask me these questions, I'll be able to answer. So it had like Blue Island had their god. Evergreen Park had their god. You understand what I'm saying? Avalon Park had theirs. You understand what I'm saying, Carol? They was all located in
Right.
Heliopolis, but in each district. There you go, Carol. Give me a chance. Y'all work with me. I'm fascinated. I'm learning, man. I don't know what learning do to y'all.
Hey.
Anytime I start learning something new, I'll be like, oh, thank you, Lord. So that's Nekhbet is in Upper Egypt. Wajet was in Lower Egypt. So who was Joseph more acquainted with? Nekhbet or Wajet?
Wajet.
Wajet. Wajet. W-A-D-J-E-T. That was the code, right? That was in Lower Egypt. Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I told you it's gonna be good, man.
Preacher, that's a deadly animal.
Yes, it is, man. And then you got the vulture.
Even deadly.
And that's why when he did the signs and wonders with his staff, he turned it into a snake.
Preach. See, I told you. Now you learned it.
What?
That's the Lord Egypt. It was in. Boy, you learned it, man. Nekhbet. Nekhbet was the vulture. Hello? Ain't this good?
Mm-hmm.
This was in Upper Egypt.
Called them lazy. Oh my God. Lazy. Oh my God. She's deadly, he's lazy. Ain't that something?
No man worship. Even that man was under that damn woman. That's when he wore on his crown, Charles. He wore that on his crown when he was ruling Upper and Lower Egypt. You understand?
The white one?
Yeah, the white crown will not represent Upper, will represent Lower. So if you only got the white, you only ruled in one part of Egypt, maybe Lower Egypt. You might see what that is. It's all right, I have it for you. We're not going to make money. I think the red was Upper Egypt. I think the white was Lower Egypt. When he had both of them on, that means he ruled in Upper and Lower Egypt. If he just got one of them on, that means he only ruled in one part. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You understand? So if you, I believe if he was worshiping Lower Egypt, he had the white crown on his hand, on his head. When he was ruling Upper Egypt, he had the red on. When he was ruling both of them, he had the white and the red on, like a church. You understand? So this is going to be good. Those was the goddesses. So that, the vulture was in Upper Egypt. It's in South. Wajet, the cobra, was in Lower Egypt. It's in the north, close to Canaan. So this is where
Joseph was.
Amen. So he knew that. That God was right there with him. Pharaoh had that on his crown. He had both of them on his crown. I'm sure you picture he had both of them on his crown.
Seen those movies where
He got both of them. He got the vulture on one side, he got the cobra on the other side. All that means God is worship. I don't even want to stop. Let me pray. Father, we thank you in the name of Jesus for what you have shown us. Cause us to understand and show us how Romans chapter 1, 18 through 23 apply. Show us how Ham, Mizraim, took the story of the flood that Noah preached to him and converted, made gods and goddesses out of myths, created stories, put into their imagination that led man astray. Be with us as we leave this place. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.